The German invasion of Hungary occurred in 1944. What? I thought that Hungary and Germany were like allies. Well, they were, and the Hungarians participated in the invasion of the USSR. However, things changed. During two operations, the Germans seized control of Hungary, Operation Margarethe and Operation Panzerfaust. In this video, more about the German invasion of Hungary. The Kingdom of Hungary was the fourth state to sign the Tripartite Pact on the 27th of September 1940. By that time, two Vienna Wars had taken place in which Hungary recovered a big chunk of the territories the country had lost after the First World War. Hungary did take part in the Axis invasion on Yugoslavia, which commenced on the 6th of April 1941. On the 22nd of June 1941, the Germans invaded the USSR. Germany did let Hungary know that Hungarian assistance was welcome. The Hungarian Air Force directed an attack at the Galician town of Stanislaw in the early morning on June 27. Ground troops crossed the border at Volovec in the afternoon, as firefights with Soviet border guards had already taken place that morning. And so, Hungary had joined Hitler's crusade. If you want to have a more detailed look on why Hungary joined the Axis and why Hungary joined Hitler's invasion of the USSR, I have more videos on that. See the links in the description and a pinned comment. In January 1943, the Don disaster took place. On the Don front, the Hungarian Second Army was annihilated by the Soviet forces. About 50,000 Hungarian soldiers were killed or froze to death. 70,000 were POW'd or became missing in action. The Second Army lost 80% of its equipment. It was one of the worst disasters in modern Hungarian history. To some factions in the Hungarian parliament, it was obvious that Hungary had to contact the Allies to withdraw from the German alliance. The majority believed the Don disaster was the fault of the Germans and that the Hungarian forces were used as cannon fodder to cover the German retreat. Thus, the remaining Hungarian troops should be brought home immediately. Miklós Horthy, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Hungary, was stirred to action to contact the Allies and see if a settlement could have been made. This wasn't easy, since Hungary had no government in exile and no official access to the Allied powers. Contacts had to be made through neutral countries, but neither Great Britain nor the US seemed receptive. On the 11th of April 1943, Regent Miklós Horthy visited Adolf Hitler. Horthy was worn down because of the loss of his son, István Horthy, who died in a plane crash in August 1942. Hitler gave him a 1-hour monologue. Hitler claimed the Hungarian soldiers had fought bad, and their morale was bad, and their leadership was bad, and the Hungarian government was bad. Horthy did not stand up to Hitler, but remained his dignity, stating that he would leave the performance of the Hungarian army for future historians to determine. Observing that the army did lose 146,000 regular soldiers, 36,000 labor servicemen and all its equipment, and had therefore surely not disgraced itself. Hitler then proceeded to berate Horthy about his lenient treatment of the Hungarian Jews. As time progressed, the relations with Germany deteriorated, especially since the Germans were aware of Hungary's attempts to contact the Allies. When Italy surrendered in the fall of 1943, Hitler decided to prepare for eventual other so-called betrayals. A plan was drafted for the possible occupation of first Hungary and then Romania. The plan for the Hungarian invasion was codenamed Margarethe I. According to the plan, both Slovak and Romanian troops had to take part in it. Early 1944, the Red Army made rapid advances in Ukraine. When the Soviets would reach Hungarian borders, the Hungarians may well defect. In light of Hungary's strategic position, it was clear that Hitler could not leave Hungary in the hands of a government whose loyalties were suspect, while the Hungarian economy had become of even more crucial importance to Germany. Hungarian Chief of Staff Ferenc Szombathely requested for the return of Hungarian troops on the Eastern Front, but was once again met with a firm no. When Hitler exactly made his decision to execute Margarethe I is difficult to determine. The plan changed several times. It also had to do with the deceiving information from the Allies that a future landing would take place in the Balkans. For Hitler, the question was not to occupy Hungary, but how to occupy it. Would Hitler allow Romanian, Slovak and Croat troops to take part in the invasion and dismemberment of the kingdom? Wilhelm Hüttel, the head of the German Secret Service in Hungary, recommended a political solution with military force. Therefore, they had to draw Horthy away from his post. Early March, German troops amassed near Hungary's borders. Horthy was then invited to meet Hitler at Klesheim Castle in Salzburg, Austria. Prime Minister Calais urged him not to go, but Horthy went anyway. On the 18th of March, Horthy met Hitler, Ribbentrop and Keitel. Hitler announced that he was going to occupy Hungary. Horthy was furious and later claimed that if he had his revolver with him, he would have shot Hitler right there on the spot. Horthy eventually left by train, but the Germans on purpose delayed his train. Because of this, Prime Minister Calais received no instructions of what to do when the Germans would cross the border, which happened on Sunday morning, March 19, 1944. The Germans crossed the border in trains, tanks and armored cars. They were ordered to act in a restrained manner, but crush any resistance. The Hungarian army reported that only the forces in the Carpathians would be ready for action. Calais called in army officers who were in Budapest. Some argued resistance was futile. Others were willing to resist but didn't want to carry out orders in absence of the regent. Meanwhile, Calais' son sat at the telephone all night, calling individuals for the upcoming danger, left-wing politicians, pro-English politicians, as well as Jewish representatives. As German troops appeared in the country, the military was confused. Here were their allies invading them. The confusion is expressed by one of the cadets of the military academy. I have to say honestly, we didn't know how we should react, what we should feel. The Germans were our military comrades. We were allies, but this, that they should occupy Hungary, offended our national pride. At the Ludovica, we got the order to hold together, but we didn't understand what that command meant. That we should stand against the Germans? Or perhaps that we were to carry out something with the Germans. In German military reports there is hardly any word about Hungarian opposition. When visiting the Museum of Military History in this city, I did learn some Hungarian units fought against the Germans, but that was because they weren't informed to stand down. In the literature I read that at several border locations and airports there was firing on German troops, and also Bichke railroad workers tried to oppose the Germans. That's all I could find. If you have any additional information on Hungarian resistance against the German invasion of March 1944, feel free to share it. So, in most places the Hungarian army did not resist. According to a German report, in some places they were even received ceremonially. The German occupation troops took the Hungarians by surprise. They entered the country as if on parade. Some were not surprised at all, since they had seen German troops before. In the afternoon, Germans were sitting on cafe terraces. A Hungarian student recalled, "I happened to go up to the castle on that Sunday morning. I hiked up from the streetcar stop on the Jelkalman Square. When I reached the gate, I was surprised to see two soldiers standing on either side, their weapons at the ready, the cannons on either side of the gate. So this was it. I got cold shivers up my spine. I knew that there was big trouble, and it suddenly hit me. The Germans." For 3 days, the Hungarian press made no mention of the German occupation troops. The word also got out hardly, since Germany dominated the surrounding countries, and that meant that Hungary was sealed off the outside world. In the previous days, Germans arrested prominent Hungarians they deemed a threat. Horthy remained as a regent, and this decision has been intensely debated ever since. Horthy remained to keep the country together. He wanted Hungary to have a powerful army after the war, so there wouldn't be any chaos like there was after the First World War. Yet, with Horthy remaining as a regent, the Allied powers saw Hungary not as an occupied nation, but as a Nazi vassal state. A Nazi vassal state, however, Hungary was not. Yet. Did you know that there also existed a plan called Operation Margarethe II to invade and occupy Romania? However, this plan was never carried out, and Romania successfully switched sides to the Allies. Hungary, however, was not that fortunate. Regent Miklós Horthy realized he was in a precarious situation. Eventually, Horthy would find his demise. He continued to contact the Allies. The Germans then organized a takeover. Operation Panzerfaust, carried out by Otto Skorzeny. That is something for another video. Big shout out to my patrons, a special thanks to Philip Jordan, Jakob Moslund, Nick Terranova, Haley Berry, Mark Little-Hill, Janusz Dojomkiewicz, Joanne, Justin Trebell, Peter King, Tanya Dixie, Henry Clarkson, Rob Park, Andrea Martic, Ilya Yut, Fernando Lopez Ojeda, and Mike West. Horthy had to make way for Ferenc Szalasi and his fascist Arrow Cross party that was now calling the shots in the Hungarian state. And this state would go down in flames, just as Germany. If you like to learn why the Germans fought till the bitter end, well, I have an interesting video for you. You can find it right here. If you like to support me, you can do so via Patreon and via PayPal. The links are in the description. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Give this video a like. Thanks for watching, and best wishes from Budapest, Hungary.